Welcome, wanderers of twilight. Tonight, we tread into a realm where perception and reality collide, and the truth hides in plain sight. They say mirrors don't lie, but what if they choose to keep secrets of their own? Let me tell you about Veronica, a photographer whose ambitions stretched far beyond the lens. For her, the world was a subject to capture, to manipulate, to perfect. Or so she thought. Veronica had come into the possession of a peculiar mirror during one of her shoots at an old Victorian mansion. Its frame was elaborately carved in the shape of vines that seemed almost alive, twisting and writhing in the flickering light. Intrigued, she brought it back to her studio, her sanctuary of creativity. She noticed something odd, but fascinating. The mirror made everything more vivid. Colors richer than their earthly hues, light sharper, darkness profound. At first it was enchanting, but more on that later. You see, Veronica had an obsession with detail, control. Every image had to exude perfection, every color precisely aligned, every shadow deliberate. The idea of flaws crawling into her work made her restless. To her, this mirror was like an answer to something she hadn't dared to question. It seemed to enhance not just her subjects, but her ambition. Her photos grew alluring, intoxicating. Clients clamored for her. They said her work had a certain life, an authenticity, ungraspable yet irresistible. And yet, Veronica began noticing unusual things in her photographs. Shadows where none should exist. Details she hadn't focused on, an unwavering thread of subtle anomalies. It was when she reviewed a portrait and noticed a figure behind the subject that wasn't there during the shoot that skepticism took root. She blamed herself initially. Overwork, stress, exhaustion. But then, there was an evening where the mirror revealed its deceit outright. It was midnight, the hour when everything becomes otherworldly. Veronica was alone in her dimly lit studio, the mirror propped at an angle across the room. She wasn't working, just sitting there, consumed by her thoughts. Her reflection stared at her, but there was no camera, no shutter, no distance. She rubbed her eyes, overwhelmed by her fatigue, yet her reflection didn't blink. Hands trembling, a chill snaked down her spine when her reflected self tilted her head, studying her. Yes, the reflection studied her. Veronica screamed, but no sound emerged. A paralysis overtook her body. She scrambled to her feet, almost knocking over a lamp. At the same time, her double remained calm, unnervingly calm. It smiled at her. Not her reflection's smile, no. Something outside her body was projecting that grin. Veronica felt a force pulling her, a magnetic draw towards the mirror. Frightened beyond reason, she backed away. But, oh my dear ones, the mirrors, they seduce, they summon, and they beg to be obeyed. The days that followed proved equally disturbing. Veronica moved the mirror to her attic, out of sight, out of mind, or so she hoped. And yet she felt its pull. Her thoughts constantly drifted back to its lifelike appearance, its depths. Whispers would emerge from its surface whenever she was near. No, not whispers. Summons. She painted herself in distractions. Work became an escape, but every flaw in her creations haunted her. Every crooked line, every smudge of shadows, imperfection screamed at her. And deep down, a sinister awareness took root, something calling her from her own reflection. Finally, one stormy night, Veronica could endure no longer. Perhaps her curiosity overcame her fear. Perhaps the mirror's siren call resolved her will. Bleeding skies above roared as lightning fractured the air, a fitting backdrop as she trudged up creaking steps to confront the very heart of her torment. The attic door swung open, revealing the mirror covered by a dusty, tattered cloth. She pulled it off, and there it stood, so innocent, and yet teeming with malevolence beneath its glass pane. This time, the image in it didn't wait to shadow her movements. No, this Veronica emerged first, tapped her palm against the glass, grinning a grotesque yet familiar grin that wasn't her own. It emanated authority, confidence, everything Veronica herself felt a lack of. Then it spoke, in words, but unlike human utterances. "Come," it hissed. "Let me perfect you too." With trembling fingers, Veronica lurched forward, and who could blame her? Artistry was her obsession, and the idea of self-perfection can lure the strongest soul. But as her fingertips grazed the cold surface, she felt not glass, but a warmth she couldn't pull back from. Her reflection gripped her wrists, and that was it. Game over. That's where Veronica's story ends. At least, this version of her story. See, the next morning her assistant, a quiet man good with lighting gels, walked in to find her dazzlingly radiant, poised before the mirror. "Morning, boss," he chirped, but he sensed something odd. And don't we all feel it instinctively, when the air doesn't sit right? Her gaze shadowed him with an intensity unbearable. His name froze on his lips. Her reflection, however, it didn't mirror her at all. In fact, it wasn't there. My dear viewers, as you glare into your own mirrors tonight, take heed. You might call them tools, sometimes decorative, sometimes functional. To me, they're gateways. Do me a favor while you're up. Run your hand down the glass, will you? Just to be sure, it's really glass. Or are you stroking the delicate surface between two dimensions better off separated? Don't forget to look over your shoulder now and then if you do. It's always possible someone or something has already stepped through.